You have the full manuscript, you've read it, you love it. What happens next? Do you arrange for a phone call? Are you checking out the author's social media?
I will often check out social media. I will often do a little bit of like internet research on a person, and just to make sure there are no red flags, really. But the next important step is, getting on Zoom is what I've been doing, and having a conversation to see if we'd be a good fit.
What kind of red flags would show up on social media that authors should be mindful of?
That's a great question. I mean, I feel like it's the same kind of things that might apply if you're like, say, like, you're in the dating world and you want to make sure someone isn't, questionable sort. I feel like there's not one thing, but you want to make sure someone seems like a reasonable person, and that there aren't. I don't know that. I'm trying to think of specific red flags. I think it's just sort of getting a general sense of them. I mean, I think people's social media can tell a lot about, the kind of person someone is, and hopefully they seem like good people.
Well, we keep hearing about these morality clauses. I know a few publishing professionals brought it up on this show, and I'm sure you probably encountered some at this point. So are you looking for types of things that, well, I know that would violate this morality clause over here, so that would definitely be an issue?
I mean, I think it's one of those things where for me, it's more of a, like my sort of, I want to make sure that the clients I'm working with, that their values align with mine more or less. I feel like that's kind of more the thing I'm thinking about. And hopefully that avoids any conflict with the morality clause as well. I mean, at the end of the day, like these are people that I will be working with and supporting, and I want to make sure I feel good about supporting those people. And in a way, my clients are going to be the kind of people who might be, a friend in the non-publishing world, because I want them to be people that I feel like are trustworthy and good people and have their hearts in the right place. Which sounds sort of like vague maybe, but I think that's kind of what it comes down to for me, is just feeling like the person is a good person, based on sort of, I guess, my definition of that.
And yet some of our best writers have been terrible. So
it's true. It's true. And you don't always know, right? I guess you don't always know. And there's always, you never know. But hopefully that's not the case.
So, okay, I'm trying to give esteemed audience all the tips they need to nail this. So when you get to the Zoom call,
yes,
what's that look like? What types of things are you looking for the author to say that's going to assure you they're going to make a great client?
Yeah, I mean, I think someone's willingness to be collaborative, I think, is the most important thing. So what I like to do, first, I love to just have a getting to know you conversation where we talk about, I introduce myself, I tell them about my agency and who I am, my background, and I ask them about their own background and who they are, because I want to get to know them as people. And so just that getting to know you part of it is the initial portion of that call, really. And then, we'll talk about their story, what I loved about it, what I see that might need some work, and are you willing to work on these things with me? Because I think if someone is resistant to wanting to be collaborative, and that's a huge red flag for me. If someone feels like this is my story and I'm not gonna, I don't really want to, I'm not, like, our visions don't align, for example, like that's also a possibility too. Like maybe what I want to do with the author's story is counter to their own vision for it, in which case, I would hope that they would speak up for what they actually want to, because something that's super important in the relationship with an agent and an author, as well as an editor and an author, is it is a collaborative relationship. It's not, I want an author to always make sure that they're standing by their story firmly too, and that they're willing to give and to work on things, but that, I'm here to help them stay true to their story. And if I'm not able to do that, if my vision is different from theirs, then they should also know that this is not maybe a good fit. So definitely is hopefully a conversation that goes both ways. And I think, the advice that you're given when you go into a job interview of, you're not just being interviewed, you're interviewing them, I think is so important. And I want to know that the clients I want to work with, they should also be holding me to a high standard, and they should also be asking me questions and making sure that they feel like I am going to be the right person to represent and support them, and that they are going to feel safe with me. So I would definitely encourage authors to ask as many questions as they want to ask in those conversations, for sure.
What are some good questions that authors should be asking?
I mean, one that I always get is about communication style, which I think is important to know. Just to make sure that, you know, some people need more support than others, and it's good to know what your client might want or need as well. I think it's, there's some other good questions that an author might ask me. I guess what the process might look like going forward, you know, what the timeline might look like for getting their project out on submission, how involved they can be as far as the submission list goes and like which editors it's going to. I try to be really transparent about who I'm sending to, and if they have thoughts on the submission list, I'm more than, you know, happy to hear them, because sometimes an author may have a connection on social media with an editor somewhere, or they may have expressed interest at some point at a conference or what have you. So like asking about that part of it is really important too. I'm sure I'm forgetting important things that they could be asking me, but really, I don't think there's any question that should really be off the table. Yeah, I mean, that's an author's biggest chance to make sure it's going to be a good fit, because it's a, you know, it's a commitment, and certainly if it doesn't work out, they can walk away from it. But I think it's important for them to be good advocates for themselves. I know it's a daunting thing probably to get on the phone with an agent for a lot of people, but I would say to try to do your best to just make sure you're looking out for yourself in those conversations too.
Oh, these are middle grade and young adult authors. Daunting is facing an entire school of kids who've read your book and have questions.
For sure. Absolutely. No question. They're not going to hold back. Yeah.